This is the type of win that I've been wanting to see for quite some time. The Arizona Cardinals dominated the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans are a, playoff type of team. Some might say a Super Bowl contending type of team, but the Arizona Cardinals came on all cylinders go on offense, on defense, and even on special teams. We're going to dive into it here deeper, guys. I do have a little bit of cons, but I do have a lot of pros that we're going to dive into today, guys. Roll that intro. Alright guys, welcome back in. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, today what I wanted to talk about was my post-game reaction for this Arizona Cardinals versus the Tennessee Titans game. And this game was over by half. Let me tell you one thing. Before we get started, do me one big favor. Smash that like button and subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan on YouTube. We are on the road to 8K subscribers, and I cannot do it without you guys. So smash that like button, subscribe, and put your post notification bell on as well. We will be going live today at 5 p.m. AZ time to basically talk to the whole Red Sea. I'm excited to see you guys there. Well, let's dive right into this game, guys. Like I said a little earlier, there's only like 2 or 3 cons that I had throughout this entirety of the game. Now, let's start off with that just because that list is pretty small. So let's start off with the cons here. One of the cons is penalties. Penalties is still kind of something that's hurting the Arizona Cardinals. Now, obviously, because we got a win, it's not something that we're going to talk about a lot. If we got a loss, then we will be, looking under a microscope and really say, like, what the heck is going on with this Cardinal team? But it's still a cause for concern. Our very first possession that we had, I believe we had 4 penalties. 4 flags came out on us, and it was absolutely hideous. It was disgusting looking. The Cardinals were moving down the field up and down, but the penalties were basically delaying us from, making a touchdown. We ended up just going for a field goal, which we ended up making it. Thankfully, Prater is our kicker now. But that's a cause for concern here. We need to clean up the penalties, especially going against other teams in the NFL. Another con that I want to talk about here is going to be Kyler Murray. He did it again, but just once. Like I said, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but when he scrambled out of the pocket, going to the right-hand side, it seems like he has a vision. He wants to go out of bounds, but he doesn't really know where the sticks are, so he lost 2 yards. Like I said, we're not going to get too crazy about it because we got the win, so it's not that big of a deal. My last con that I want to talk about is, unfortunately, Kelvin Beachum did get hurt for this game. It sucks. I really hope that he's going to be good from here on out. But I did see him walk with his own power. I didn't see him on a cart or anything like that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, things will work out for Kelvin Beachum, because honestly, we can really use him in the right tackle position. All right, now let's dive into the pros here, guys. Now, there was a ton of pros for our Arizona Cardinal team, and this right here was the type of win I wanted to see. Like I mentioned a little earlier in the intro, we were just on all cylinders freaking go. Kyler Murray had a magical game here. I believe it ended up with 4 touchdowns, 2 to D-Hop, 2 to Christian Kirk, and then he ended up getting a rushing touchdown himself. Over 250 yards receiving, and I believe it was like 15 or a little bit more than 15 yards rushing. So, but let me just tell you right now, Kyler Murray is really taking the next step into the, the 3rd year. So I'm absolutely super excited to see what the progression for Kyler Murray is going to be. He did have 1 interception, which is not that big of a deal. Like I said, 4 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, not that big of a deal at all. Now, not only did our offense get going, but our defense. I want to go ahead and just give a huge shout out to our entire defensive line and basically our whole defense in general. Isaiah Simmons came out to play. Zaven Collins came out to play. J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones stopped anything that Derrick Henry was trying to do in the first half. It was obvious what their game plan was. They were trying to run it down our throats with Derrick Henry. In the moment that we stopped them from our defensive line, they were shell-shocked. They did not know what to do with our defense. That's probably one of the main reasons why they only kind of got up and going, later on in the, second quarter, going into the second half. But still, our defense did an amazing job left and right. Marcus Golden, Licky Fotu, Rashad Lawrence, Corey Peters did amazing as well. There was 2 things that happened, and they're both from Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy had the opportunity to get 2 interceptions. And it was possibly going to be 2 pick sixes. It sucks because they went in and out of his hands. It happened twice, but hey, it's a learning experience. And I honestly think that our cornerbacks held up very well, very, very well against Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. So kudos to our cornerbacks. I know a lot of people were worried, including myself. Are they going to be able to hold up? But they absolutely did. Another thing I want to talk about is Chandler freaking Jones. 5 sacks. I believe he got 2 or 3 sacks in the first quarter or 4, something along those lines, but this is crazy numbers. Now, if you guys don't know, Chandler Jones had this whole, issue going into the offseason, and a lot of people were worried. Is Chandler Jones wanting to get out? Is he requesting a trade? Is he going to sit out? But truth of the matter, I don't care, Arizona Cardinals, what you have to do. Pay the man. Chandler Jones is easily the probably best player we have on our defensive line. And I understand we have a lot of beasts on our defensive line. Chandler Jones is my favorite. But let me tell you one thing. We need to lock in Chandler Jones. This guy is an absolute monster. He's an absolute beast. A total of 5 sacks. And honestly, he might already be leading sacks in the NFL right now after week 1, ladies and gentlemen. So let me know what you guys think. What are some positives that you took away from this game, guys? Like always, like, comment, and subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan on YouTube. Appreciate you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.